All right, so the big questions that we asked this evening, well, with the change of guard, will remote control model in Congress once again come back, even though the man at the helm of affairs, the president of the Congress, will be a non-Gandhi? Will Gandhi give up real power? Who will be the next Rajasthan chief minister is an inevitable question there. The spotlight right now, of course, on the presidential polls where it comes down to the Congress, but also on who will be the Rajasthan chief minister. I want to cut across to our panelists this evening. Rahul Srivastav, National Affairs Editor; Syed Zafar Islam, Bharatiya Janata Party spokesperson; Dr. Ajoy Kumar, Congress spokesperson. Join us. Mr. Kumar, Dr. Kumar, the fact is, the Congress also joining us on the show. I beg your pardon. We also have Rahul Verma, Fellow Center for Policy Research. Dr. Kumar, my first question is to you. The fact is, constantly the Congress is harping on the fact and why the media is obsessed with the Congress holding elections for its next president. The fact is, sir, it's the first time in 20 years where the de facto candidate is not a Gandhi.
Look, Preeti, just a couple of editorial inputs. One is that Gandhi Mukt Congress, we don't see Modi Mukt BJP kind of statement. So just as a, to your, whoever is doing the editing, just a, it's not only, it's also not, it's pretty bad language, and bad English also for that matter. But the important fact is that we are glad you're paying attention, because the other side doesn't have any elections at all. In fact, they're so puzzled with what is political party's election, that they make statement that it's a sham, because they've never done election. Zafar's party have no clue on what is an election. Because I would be really grateful for Zafar to give us 2 minutes of how do they elect anyone, except buying MLAs and MPs and etc., because I have no clue on their election process.
Dr. Kumar, the BJP maintains it's an electoral college. There's no vote, but there's an electoral college, is what the BJP maintains. But make your point, and we'll cut across to Mr. Islam right after you.
But give me the luxury.
Of course, sir. Of course, go ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Vicky. So the question again is, so it's the most well-kept secret in this universe that BJP's got electoral college first. The second issue is that the fact that the Congress party is the only party, and you've seen the way, whether it's Shashi filing his nomination, Manish Tiwari is planning to do it, Ashok Gehlot obviously is going to fight. I think it's good for the party. It's also a light to our political opponents, and I'm glad you're paying it. I would say that the press paying attention to it is also a good thing, because I think all political parties need to go through this process, and we are very proud of our tradition and culture, and the process we are following. I'm in charge of 3 states in the Northeast. We had the election for all the delegates, all the bloc presidents, by the candidates. So I think that process is healthy. It's good for us. It's good for the country.
All right, okay. So, Mr. Islam, Dr. Ajoy Kumar is turning the mirror on you, something which was echoed by Rahul Gandhi yesterday in Kerala, which is, it's all well and good to say that the Gandhis will remote control the new president. When was the last time you held elections? What about your internal party democracy? 2004, when was there even, the farce of a public election for the post of president in Bharatiya Janata Party, all the way in 2004?
Well, Preeti, just do a back testing for Bharatiya Janata Party vis-a-vis Congress party and see whether there is any family which is the party president in Bharatiya Janata Party, or a commoner within the rank and file who becomes the party president in Bharatiya Janata Party. Certainly through the process, electoral process, one becomes the party president in Bharatiya Janata Party. That's why somebody who was working like a small worker in the party in 80s eventually had become the party president. That only suggests that there is a process for elevation for a quality worker who is contributing within the party and for the betterment of the party. Having said that, just see, I want them to see the mirror and say, do we have ever had an election, free and fair election, where we have chosen other than the sycophants or the family members? Even today, is this the election? It's just merely a farce. You are choosing Ashok Gehlot as a candidate. That only suggests that he is a
it's a selection, not an election.
First, and he is no. Of course, it is a selection, not an election. He is being only told to fight the election, and nobody else. Had they given a chance likes of Sachin Pilot to become the party president, then I would have said, yes, somebody who is competent, somebody who has the face, somebody who is young, somebody who is talented is being given the chance, or even for Dr. Ajay Kumar. Has he been given the chance to become
But Mr. Zafar
party
Islam,
president or...
Mr. Zafar Islam, you know, the Congress has made it clear anyone can fight. In all probabilities, there's Mr. Tharoor who will be fighting. Yesterday we had Digvijay Singh on our show, and he said very clearly that even I could fight. There's even word that Kamal Nath also might throw in his hat.
So, you have seen that Digvijay Singh said, and finally what he had to say? No, I'm not fighting, because he was stunned in the meeting with Mrs. Sonia Gandhi, that how the hell you are putting your hand up and say that you will also fight.
Yesterday we had him on the show and he still made his intent. He says, I'm thinking about
because thinking means he can think endlessly, but unless he has the commitment of Sonia Gandhi, he will not fight, because all the votes will come from those who will be supported by, or the person will be supported by Mrs. Gandhi and the family.
Fair enough. You know, I want to cut across to Rahul Srivastava.
Control.
Right.
I
know. Okay, Dr. Kumar, I'm coming back to you. I want to cut across to Rahul Srivastava right after you, but Mr. Islam, you know, I want to go back to Dr. Ajay Kumar, because you made some pertinent...
I request, I don't know,
Sir, complete.
I just request Dr. Kumar to put up your hand and say, I want to fight election. That's all. Well, if you can do it, then I will understand this is a free and fair election.
Well, he's raising his hand. I don't know if he wants to fight elections. But I think that's to make a point in this debate. But, okay. Dr. Kumar, the fact, you know, one thing is very clear. The proverbial hand of the High Command seems to rest on Mr. Gehlot. The sheer fact that the knives, even before Mr. Tharoor decides or not decides, you know, to ultimately file nominations, the knives are out for him. Your own party spokespersons, thread after thread on Twitter, taking Mr. Tharoor down. Your own Kerala Congress unit, you know, issuing one statement after the other, completely saying we don't support Mr. Tharoor. All of this is quite pretty obvious that it is Mr. Gehlot who's been selected. So it's a selection, not an election.
So Zafar told me something interesting. Look, we are a party where I can raise my hand and say I want to fight election, but in Zafar's case, I would request him not to raise his hand and say he wants to fight election, because it would be seriously dangerous for him. So that's the point number one. The second issue is, which is very important, is that the BJP has got an electoral college, which is true, which is called the RSS. The RSS decides who's going to be the candidate. It's called RSS in case, if anybody thinks it's a secret, please disabuse yourself of this, that the candidate is decided by the RSS. The third issue, which is most important, I think, is fact Mrs. Sonia Gandhi has categorically said they are not supporting anyone in the nomination. You might think Gehlot, you might make stories about it and everybody else will say it. But look, Mr. Gehlot is an option. So I would be very clear on saying that Shashi is fighting, and I tell you, the spokesperson who spoke on
Dr. Kumar, you're actually telling us, and I want to bring in Rahul Srivastava into this conversation. Sir, are you actually telling us that Mr. Gehlot is fighting this election of his own volition? Please look at the man. He looks harassed. He really doesn't want to fight this election.
So
it's on his
face. So before Rahul, give me
yes, please make your point.
Preeti, the fact is that the spokesperson who spoke, or anybody who spoke, Jairam is very clear, and I think we must be very clear.
Can I just come in for 10 seconds, please?
So let me finish. I'll come back to you, and then my colleague, Mr. Srivastava, is waiting rather patiently. But yes, Dr. Kumar, make your point. Make your point. I'll go back to Mr. Islam, and then I'll cut across to Rahul Srivastava. Go ahead, sir. Make your point.
Anybody who speaks against whether it's any candidate fighting, I don't think it's appropriate. That's right. It goes totally against what we are saying. Jairam has made it very clear, and I request everybody else. I think Shashi filing his nomination is a good thing. That's not a bad thing. And it will make the party stronger. I think the democratic processes get strengthened, and we are glad it's happening. So in case somebody has made that mistake, I think they realized it and they'll stop it. Thank you.
All right. Okay, Mr. Islam, you wanted to come in for a rebuttal, and then I'll cut across to Rahul Srivastava. Go ahead, sir.
No, I just want to make a point that, see, the first family of Congress has achieved many objectives. One stroke of pen, they are achieving many objectives. First objective, they wanted to remove Mr. Gehlot from CM position. So they have been able to, because time and again he was refusing to vacate that chair. So at least they wanted to drag him out from that chair, and that they have been able to, they will succeed in their strategy. Secondly, that they wanted to have somebody who can just listen to them, and the first Parivar, the first family of Congress. So who could be better than Gehlot, because Gehlot will listen to him everything and act accordingly. He has no mind of his own, but he will merely a sycophant. He will do exactly the way he would want, the first family would want him to behave. A third thing which is very important, by putting him there, the first family has killed all the competition. Had they given opportunity to likes of Dr. Ajoy Kumar, Sachin Pilot, Milind Devra, likes of those people who are young, talented, and perhaps better than
Mr.
Rahul
Islam,
Gandhi.
you know, if we talk about young and the Margdarshak Mandal,
And they
just
will
3
never
days
give
ago
them
you
job.
inducted a man over 80. You know, Captain Amrinder Singh in your fold. And when we talk about dynastic politics, he also came with his son. But having said that, you made a point, sir. But
He
I
is
want
not leading the party. He is not leading.
Sir, he's with the party. He's over 80 years old.
He is not leading the party.
But he should ideally be the Margdarshak
So,
Mandal. He should be inducted
he
into
is
the
to bring the
Margdarshak
party, his
Mandal of the
party.
party. But okay, sir, I'll come back to you. I want to bring in Rahul Srivastava
No,
and
I mean,
Rahul Verma. Yes, sir. Yes, make your point, sir. Make your point. Okay, may I bring in Rahul Srivastava and
all I'm
Rahul
trying to
Verma?
say that he is
All right, there's a lag there. We're going to try and correct it. Rahul Srivastava, I'll bring you into this conversation. You know, the fact is, it's writ clear on Mr. Gehlot's face that he really doesn't want the job. You know, you can see it on his face. He's accepted it very reluctantly. You know, and we saw that with what went down in that last, you know, minute, 12 a.m. MLA meet where he came out and said, Vidhayak decide karenge ki agla CM kaun hoga. You know, the charge, Rahul, which the BJP is making of a remote control president is not really so far from the truth. If you look at the Congress's history, you know Sitaram Kesari's history better than anybody else.
See, Preeti, I hope my English is not corrected by Ajay, my old friend. But the fact is that both the parties don't realize that there is a crisis as far as the selection of a party head is concerned. The crisis emerges that whenever there is a strong leadership which eventually gets to dictate who is going to be the leader, be it election or selection, the final decision is not a very democratic one. Because I will say that though the RSS may be deciding, though the BJP may be deciding, in the BJP, an ordinary worker since 1980s can aspire to be a president of the BJP. A Nitin Gadkari, who used to paste posters on the walls of Mumbai at one time became the president of the party. Has a congressman ever aspired in the last 3 or 4 decades to be Congress president like Nitin Gadkari had at one time, perhaps? Or a Kushabhau Thackeray making to the party top, Jana Krishnamurthy, Venkaiah Naidu. These are all people who started from the grassroots of the party and they rose in an evolutionary manner as far as the top of the party is concerned. So the Congress may have had elections, but I know what the elections were like. The man who was Sitaram Kesari, I have seen how he was pushed out of the chair.
Or Rahul,
the fact is that Jitendra Prasad last time around contested an election.
Yes, you know, his quote to our own, to our own magazine at that point of time.
He contested an election last time around. Yes, and that's why I say that even that election is because the Congress party's top first family controls. It has the pelf. The Congress party depends on it. Even today, the Congress party is depending on them for a reform by putting somebody who's a non-family member. So eventually the entire exercise has a stamp of the family. When Mr. Gehlot met Sonia Gandhi on Wednesday, what was the agenda? To ensure that he should contest the president's election and not insist that if he is getting the Kohinoor, he should not fight for an ordinary piece of jewelry called Rajasthan. What was the first family doing? The Congress first family was trying to clear the deck for the election of Mr. Gehlot as the next party president. Now, that's not truly election. It's like somebody with deep vested interest is dictating the election. Yes, Ashok Gehlot is a brilliant politician, as good as they come. in the last 40 years, Gehlot has been part of each state, 29 of them, in one way or the other. The man who was the election agent for Rajiv Gandhi when he contested Amethi for the first time. Indira Gandhi's first rally in Jodhpur after emergency, Ashok Gehlot was the organizer. He is a leader who can actually take the Congress forward. But when we come to this criteria element, Preeti, we confuse ourselves. I think the BJP's election process, selection process has suffered, I think, under strong leadership of a Narendra Modi and Amit Shah, because now the decision will not be made maybe even by the RSS, but perhaps by the two. For example, if you see Nitin Gadkari edged out of the parliamentary board. What was that? I don't think it was the RSS. RSS didn't want to send him out. It was the duo which decided. I think it's the caliber of the leadership. Once you have strong leaders at the top, election and selection is all according to their own.
You know, I want to bring in Rahul Verma, but Rahul, you know, I'll also ask you, because the point that I was making earlier, Jitendra Prasad, to our own magazine, after that election, had told us, you know, it's a quote that I was actually reading, that at least there should have been a fig leaf of a measure to show to the outside world that this election wasn't rigged, but it was fair. And, you know, on the other side, I want to ask you, Rahul, the fact that if you put a man in a position of power, because Ashok Gehlot is a seasoned mass leader and he's a wily politician if you look at him, do you think that could also change the man? It's, you know, it's happened before with Mr. Kesari.
Preeti, this is a significant and historic moment in Congress party's life. Whether it will be a turnaround of event, that will only depend on who gets elected and how he or she is going to use power. You are absolutely right that once either Mr. Gehlot or Mr. Tharoor or Mr. Tiwari, whoever contests and wins election, are they going to play an instrument to the first family, or they will actually work for the party and try to turn the things around? Anything is possible in politics, and that's why anyone who controls party, for example, in the Congress party, Gandhi family has a big hold on the party. They would not want a politician who can take things on their own hand, right? So either the Gandhi family is ready to let go of Congress party of its own hand for the sake of the party and for the sake of the country, and if they want to keep holding on to the power, no ship can run with two captains.
Right.
It will sink.
You know, Dr. Kumar, I'll bring you back into this conversation. The fact that you are pushing Mr. Gehlot, or at least seeming to push Mr. Gehlot to take the Congress president's chair, pushing him to vacate the Rajasthan chief minister's chair, is that a smart move? You're 1 year away from Rajasthan elections. The Vidhayak Dal, to speak of, the MLAs, seem to be standing behind Ashok Gehlot. There is no love lost between Mr. Gehlot and Mr. Pilot. When it actually comes down to tickets in the next 8 months, the party president would seemingly play a bigger role. Aren't you really querying the pitch right before a big election moment? It happened in Punjab, where your two picks, one of them, Mr. Sidhu, is in jail, the other one is in Canada.
So, couple of clarification. I think with Channi, I think he's not well. So I don't know what's in the public. What I've heard that he's extremely unwell. So that needs to be verified. And with Sidhu, it was an old case which was like. So that's Preeti. That was not. It's a bad correlation again on that issue. The second issue is with.
Yes, go ahead, sir.
The second issue is, look, Rahul. What the Rahul said, you know, whether they'll have the remote control or not. I think Mr. Gandhi or the family is damned if you do and damned if you don't. The fact is that they have actively pushed for this reform. You must give credit where credit is due. A lot of things which were decided in the Udaipur conclave, where we all sat together, is a lot of things which are, and we understand it. We need that there are certain things which are critically important for the democratic structure. The Congress, by and large, okay, in most of these states, where the state presidents are there or district presidents, and most of them have come up the ladder. They have been booth presidents, they have been block presidents. And you know, so to say that, okay, we don't have a system, 99% of the people who have come through the state level leadership in the Congress, either are from the Youth Congress, which they come elected, or they're from the block president and all. Now the national level, Rahul has definitely a point on that. But the issue is where the majority of the Congress, where the majority of the party felt that it is critically important. Now, it's a democratic system. where majority of the party people feel that Sonia Gandhi ji or Mr. Rahul Gandhi should lead them, then how we swear by democracy and then say, by the way, this is not acceptable. So that's two things I think which doesn't resound. Now the challenge, I think Mr. Gehlot will be whether it's Shashi Tharoor, all these people who are fighting this election are stellar candidates, and Gehlot ji and every one of them are very remarkable people. So whoever wins the election, I would leave it for, because you don't know who's going to win the election firstly, and as much as we might keep saying it, that if there are more than one nominations for the post, there'll be an election, and then we'll have to wait for it. But the important part is that there comes a time, like I don't think Mr. Gehlot has been pushed. I mean, Preeti, I don't know. I need a course on understanding the body language, which you seem to have.
No, sir. I'll just give you sheer. No. I'll give you sheer statements. I beg Rahul Gandhi to please become the president. Till the nth minute, he refused to even accept he was going to file nominations. He called a 12 a.m. meet with his MLAs. In that meeting, he said that if push comes to shove, I will file in the nomination, but I will hold on to the chair of the Rajasthan chief ministership as well. And then the next morning, Rahul Gandhi in a press conference clearly reminded him of what was discussed in your Chintan Shivar in Udaipur of one post, one man.
Look, I think what Rahul said, Rahul Verma said, and Rahul Srivastava, and even for that matter, Zafar has been extremely, what you call, decent in today's debate. So I would just want to say a couple of things. It's a historical opportunity for the Congress party. I think the process is to percolate it down to every level. We need to do it. It will only strengthen our party, and I think it's a big. And I think the way the Bharat Jodo Yatra is going, the way the people are rallying along with it, I think it's rejuvenation from the above and taking strategic decisions from the top. It will be good for the party, and we need to continuously give a reply, because the other side,
one thing, I think one thing even Zafar Islam will concede, and Mr. Islam, I'll bring you in the fact that whichever way you look at it, it is historic. It's been over 20 years where the de facto candidate for the president wasn't a Gandhi. It's happening now. Something that everybody spoke about, the coterie, which would decide everything for the Gandhi, the G23 letters, will be at the behest of the coterie of Rahul Gandhi. Well, that somewhere down the line will fracture, will break here. And in that context, you would admit it's historic in that way.
I don't know whether historic or not, but as Dr. Ajay Kumar was saying, that it is a historic moment for Congress party. To my mind, Congress will become history from here. And you know why? Because Congress will cease to exist if there is no party present from the first family. Because they are the one who, or the president from the family, or the family controls to all these people. If they have interests of their own, they will fight with each other, because everyone aspires to become something.
But Mr. Islam, you are saying in any case the president is going to be controlled by the Gandhi, so how does that matter?
Control this family.
So
that's what I'm saying. So it's not an election. That's what I'm saying. That it's not an election. It's a proxy for Rahul Gandhi. It's proxy for Gehlot. Is a proxy for. That's what I'm saying. Is a proxy for, and everybody understand that he is a proxy for Mrs. Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi, or the first representative of the first family. It's not an election. It's a farce election. It is something which they are trying to mislead the
selection
people,
or another coronation. That's separate. Rahul Srivastava. Right. So make your point.
We will only listen to the first family.
Let him finish. Dr. Kumar, let him finish.
Nothing but a representative of first family.
Okay, representative of the rubber stamp, we've seen it before, all of that. Dr. Kumar, 10 seconds, sir, I'm going to Rahul Srivastava. Yes, Dr. Kumar.
Look, the BJP guys have a problem. They don't understand what is election. You see, so
Dr. Ajay Kumar, please put up your hand. Put up your hand and say that I will fight election.
Zafar, I didn't interrupt you.
No, sir, I am saying that you are a competent person. You are a competent person. You are a president of a Jharkhand state. Please fight election.
So one second. So listen.
Please fight election.
Okay.
Say that yes, it's a democratic process. It's not a selection process.
Maybe he doesn't want to fight the election of Mr. Islam, but Dr. Kumar, go ahead, make your point.
I'm asking you to fight election.
No, so first, Zafar Bhai, you joined the Congress. become a PCC delegate, and then you'll be eligible to file for, recommend my name.
Okay, I have to go to, okay, okay, can you take the
So, no,
person,
hey,
okay,
you are already
can
there.
both of you just
You are
connect
already
on
there.
the
You
phone
please file the lecture.
on raising your hand of,
no,
yes.
5 seconds.
Yes, make your
just 5
point.
seconds. Yeah, just 5 seconds. Whenever I speak to the guys in the Bharatiya Janata Party, it's not their fault. They actually have an intellectual challenge understanding elections. It is what the big two guys, 2.5 government people say. You have noticed that only the
But it's a
2.5
little
people in the
rich.
government
No,
who
no, but
say,
this gyan, I'm sorry, Dr. Kumar, this gyan coming from the Congress is very, very rich.
no, but this gyan comes.
No,
this
it's
gyan
very
is the
rich,
public
sir.
knowledge
History
is
stands
what you're
testimony. History stands testimony to it. But Rahul Srivastava, you've been wanting to make a point. I just want to quickly, in the fag end of this debate, stir the conversation also a bit to Rajasthan. Would you actually see, it being a politically astute move, Rahul, for Sachin Pilot at this time coming in, taking charge of the MLAs who clearly stand by the president, and when it comes to ticket selection, we all know where the tickets will go to because the president will decide it.
See, Preeti, there are 2 points. One, the answer to your question, since the move, if Sachin Pilot, see, Sachin met in Sonia Gandhi a day before he went to Kochi, and I know there was a very clear indication given to him. Next day when Mr. Gehlot met, in fact, Mrs. Gandhi quipped when he was complaining about leaving Rajasthan, is that you are going to get my post. That's a very, very strong statement coming from Sonia Gandhi. Now, given the fact that since the Sonia Gandhi and the first family would be blessing the rise of Sachin Pilot in case he becomes Chief Minister in place of Ashok Gehlot, I think the MLAs will fall in line. They need the party. So that's not going to be a crisis. I think the real issue what we were discussing is that Ashok Gehlot not wanting to be president. See, Preeti, it is not that Ashok Gehlot के मन में वो लड्डू नहीं फूट रहा होगा कि वो अध्यक्ष बनने वाले हैं कांग्रेस के. It is the circumstances which are a problem. He is not ready to leave Rajasthan because he knows what the presidentship is going to be, even if he is blessed and gets elected as the president. He is going to get elected president at a time when Rahul Gandhi is undertaking a long journey across the length of the nation to establish the Congress party, re-establish the Congress party as a principal opposition, to create an idea of Bharat Jodo, which does not include establishing himself also as one of the most popular leaders of the Congress party. Now that means Rahul Gandhi is not going to be a power center in the Congress party. Of course he is going to be. Now Ashok Gehlot knows that if he is going to be president, Rahul Gandhi is going to be a power center, then there is always a Sonia Gandhi with the biggest veto. He has also seen the time when there was a Manmohan Singh government, he was the prime minister, and there was an NAC, there was Sonia Gandhi, there was Ahmed Patel, multiple power centers, and that is why Ashok Gehlot is reluctant. He is reluctant because of the circumstances, not that he doesn't like to be the president of the Congress party. Remember, first time, 3 eligible Gandhi family members, all in active politics, are saying no to it.
Okay, I want to just quickly cut across to Rahul Verma and ask him one quick question before we go. Rahul Verma, who's looked at, the dynamics, permutations, combinations of Rajasthan. What do you see happening? Do you see Sachin Pilot taking over the fag end of the last year before Rajasthan goes to election? A smart idea?
In politics, as Rahul Srivastava rightly mentioned, everything is determined by context and what you can do in those contexts. So, like if he's being offered the chief minister position for a year, would he not take it? Is it a bad idea? Yes, it's a difficult and challenging time, but it again gives him a time for 12 months to prove his credentials. So getting the chief minister's chair is not the most important thing. What he manages to do in those 12 months to revive his own image will be important. Second, you don't know how Sachin Pilot and his camp is going to act in the Congress presidential election. A lot of combination and permutations will be worked out. We don't know whether Sachin Pilot would actually like Ashok Gehlot to become the president of the Congress party. He may actually want Ashok Gehlot to contest and lose the Congress presidency election. So in politics, it's never straightforward calculations. If Ashok Gehlot contests and loses the Congress presidency, Gehlot is finished in politics. And so there will be never a challenge to Sachin Pilot going forward. So
But
don't
that
take
might
all
be
these
debatable.
things
You
which
know,
seen
I'm,
from-
Rahul Srivastava is a little cagey about that. Dr. Kumar is shaking his head. Okay, last comments, please, and then I'm going to quickly wrap up. Mr. Islam, quickly, 10 seconds, sir.
No, I think I heard Rahul, but I think it looks far-fetched idea because it is he has already been selected and there is no competition for him. Tharoor will lose election by huge margin.
We don't even know if Mr. Tharoor is going to file his nomination yet. Right. The only one of the two have admitted, Mr. Islam.
If at all he filed. So if at all.
So only one who's admitted
I would really urge, I would really urge that senior leadership of Congress and young leadership of Congress, young leaders from Congress should fight the election, and then there will be election. Then it will be called election where people who have not been nominated or suggested or elected or selected by the first family are in the ring and fighting election for the presidency. Then I will understand that there is election, but it is nothing. It is not election anymore.
I think Preeti, Zafar may criticize the Congress. He has done it all in the program. But he said Congress is going to be history. I think one party which needs the Congress to survive most desperately is the BJP. Congress is the only pan-Indian party, and if the BJP has to create a pan-Indian narrative as far as the ruling party is concerned, it needs a Congress party because its track record against regional players is not very good. And also, regional players don't create a pan-national narrative. So it is the BJP which needs the Congress most. So it will wish that Congress is never history.
All right. Okay, Dr. Kumar, quick, sir, 10 seconds, and I need to file out of this debate.
You know, when the BJP makes comments on other elections, it scares me because I hope they're not doing it to the rest of the general election and assembly election. They seem to know everything before the results are out. First question. So I think, no, seriously.
No question, sir. I need to move out of the debate quickly. Okay, I appreciate.
I think it's historic. It's historic.
Okay.
It's an historic moment, and BJP should learn from us. Zafar, please tell those two people to start doing elections sincerely and honestly.
Okay, I appreciate you all, and it's good to know that everybody's filing out of it with a smile on their face. Have a fabulous weekend. We'll know on Monday because at least we know one person's filing nomination, and that is Mr. Gehlot. He said he's going to do it on Monday. Thank you, all four of you gentlemen, for joining me this evening.